Your main man returns today with a review of HBO's show, Girls. Now, this is a show in its second season. At the time of this review, they have finished the 5th episode of the second season, so you know exactly where I am in the progression. So that's all I've reviewed. Who knows? It could be from this point on the worst show ever or the best show ever. But that's the portion we're reviewing: the first season and the second season up to episode 5. Now, this show is it's kind of an interesting show. It's one of the HBO half-hour shows. It is stars and is created by Lena Dunham. She produces an interesting show. I definitely think, if you look at who's this going to appeal to, it's definitely a show for women, but one a woman's husband could watch with them. It's not so girly that you'd be like, you just falling asleep during it. It has some interesting points. Honestly, the male characters in the show, I found every single one of them to be, they don't really reflect people I know. I'll tell you that right now. They were very lip-wristed types of male characters that are almost reminiscent of what you might find in one of those Japanime type shows where the girls are beating a guy. I mean, they were almost that kind of guy. Like, every single one of them was a pansy, to be quite honest, if we can use that terminology. There wasn't much to them, to any of these guys. So, that being said, none of the male characters I found particularly interesting or compelling. Her boyfriend in season 1, kind of boyfriend, love interest, or whatever it's going to call, is he was probably what was his name here? Adam Driver, I believe, was the guy who played that. He is probably the best of the male characters. The rest of them were fairly atrocious. Outside of I will say, what's the character's name? Booth Jonathan, that's from memory, who was portrayed by one of the guys from Lonely Island, which they're very very funny. His character was pretty good. He was definitely my favorite male character. Some of the things they did there. Lena Dunham. There is a absurd amount of nudity in this. Now, I just watched the 5th episode of the second season. That episode was hands down the worst of the series. It was unwatchably bad. I mean, it was terrible. Look, Lena Dunham, her acting skills are marginal. She, from watching the show, the way it's put together, the characters, I believe she's either the only writer or the head writer for it, the creator, and I believe her skills lie in that area, to be quite honest. In terms of acting, I mean, she's not horrible. She's not Nicolas Cage, you understand? And that's a bad thing. Nicolas Cage is terrible, but she ain't too good. She's not great. If you watch a lot of HBO and Showtime shows, and that's almost all I watch, they have some actresses and actors that are absurdly talented, and she ain't one of them. Not at all. Girls is a bubble show for me. Like, I could, if the next episode isn't substantially better, I'm probably going to dump it. But I wanted to talk about it because the last episode, I mean, God, I felt like I got my time stolen from me. That's a half hour I'd love to have back. It was just bad. This show was just, it was just bad. Yeah, it was just terrible. I mean, it wasn't even bad. It was, a scale of 1 to 10, it ranks to like a 2. With a 5 being average. So. But the show itself has had a lot of good moments. My favorite character would be Marnie. I don't know what her last name here is. Marnie Michaels. She's an interesting character. Particularly, I think the way they portray her, she comes across pretty realistic, and she's flaky and flighty, and she doesn't really know what she wants. She tries to be manipulative towards guys, but again, gets manipulated as well. And she comes across quite believable. She's also extremely hot, way the hottest of the girls on the show. I'm going to go through and we'll evaluate their looks too. That's right, because that's just the kind of show this is. Now, Allison Williams, extremely hot. She has this one like masturbation scene after she sees Jonathan Booth in the first, or Booth Jonathan, who's an artist type character, who's like a complete cocky dick, and it's pretty entertaining. But in the first season, she has that scene. Where she sees her get so worked up, she goes in the bathroom and masturbates, which was it's very sexy. It was very well done. I mean, at this point, with the amount of provocative material that's been put forth in a sexual context, it's difficult to really actually make anything sexy. And it really succeeded there. That was the best example of that. The show tends to often go to gratuitous levels with sex and nudity. By definition, gratuitous is when it doesn't make any sense. It's not needed. She'll walk around, Lena Dunham, naked all the time. She looks horrible. She's disgusting. I wouldn't bang her. And, honestly, let's keep it real. In terms of girls on TV, of course. I mean, most of them are absurdly beautiful. So, obviously, she's going to get, she's not hot. So, where's the yes or no? But, I mean, all the time. She's constantly naked, constantly naked. It's one thing to say, okay, well, we do this nude scene with her, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's different. She doesn't have an attractive body at all. She has horrible breasts. She is fat. She's got a busted face. I think when Howard Stern, he said she looks like Jonah Hill. And, a little bit. She's not attractive. And you can say, well, it's interesting to use that periodically as a shock factor, as a reality check, as an interjection, as something different. And I completely agree with that. But when it's done all the time, and it was just gratuitous. Like, she had like 9 sex scenes. I don't know, I didn't count them. But the last episode, it was just a guy humping her constantly. And she's got ugly, like, prison-looking tattoos on her to even further complicate stuff. She wears clothing that, the only reason to want to see her naked is to get out of those clothes, the clothes she wears. And let's face it, I am not a fashionable man by any stretch of the imagination. But goddamn, those things are ugly. Like, every kind of clothes she wears, like, it's just hideous-looking stuff. And she's, like, walking around, like, playing ping pong, naked with titties out, like, just for no reason. It's like, just cover yourself up. You don't need to see that. I don't want to see it. I don't think anybody wants to see that. There's probably like 3 dudes out there that are into her, and they'll probably all hit this video, but, oh, I want to see that. Okay, whatever, you want to see it. I sure don't. So, that's a detractor for me in the show. It's a check on the negative column. I also think her acting, she often overacts, and she also often, like, when she's in the scenes, I'm like, oh, I don't really buy that. She's like playing that she's like, one of them, she was playing Africa. It was some kind of drug. I was like, oh, I've seen people on drugs like that. I don't really buy her performance too well. I didn't really buy her character so much. Then she had like this homosexual former boyfriend in the deal. It was her roommate, and he played it so feminine. I was like, come on, dude. That's, I don't know. I guess I've never seen a gay dude that was like. It just looked like a straight person, a stereotype of a gay dude. To me, it didn't seem like a gay dude at all. I don't know if anybody gay out there watches and they want to comment and say, oh, well, he thought he was believable to you or not. I thought, to me, he seemed almost like a parody. Like if you watch the movie Radio with Cuba Gooding Jr., it's like, come on, dude. That's not a retarded person. That's a parody of a retarded person. That's not how retarded people act. It's just bad acting. I thought I couldn't buy him. The actor might even be gay, but, take it down a notch, dude. It's ridiculous. It was a little ridiculous. The scene he had though with Marnie, where they had sex, and then he wanted her, and then he lost his erection. They got mad. I thought that was really good. That was extremely well written scene. It was provocative, and it gave an insight into both those characters, and it came across as real. Like, I could believe that happened. Like, he's all into her for a minute. She's beautiful, so yeah. And he's questioning his own sexuality. Is he gay? Is he bisexual? So he tries to bang this hot chick, and then that pisses Lena Dunham off, and so it creates more drama, and the drama of the show is a good thing. But overall, that wasn't. It definitely wasn't redeemable enough for the episode 5, which was just horrible. If anyone actually liked that episode and you want to comment as to why, I might be interested to hear that. I didn't see anything really redeemable about that. Another problem with Lena Dunham is she is, and Howard, again, I listen to Howard Stern sometimes, and he talked about that. It's ridiculous. It's like, come on, dude. She's like with some incredibly attractive guys. In the show, her character, she comes across as, she doesn't have very many good qualities. And I think the character's supposed to be written like that to a degree, but she comes across kind of as a pretentious pseudo-intellectual moron, and is very self-centered and obsessed. These are traits guys do not like. If I started dating a girl and she was like that, we're not calling you back. She also seems pretty clingy and extremely insecure. So overall, she has very few qualities that I was like, oh yeah, I'm interested in that. I don't know how many seasons of the show ago. I've seen better shows when HBO and Showtime get canceled. It's certainly not one of their shows. In fact, even currently, I think they play it with Enlightenment. I don't even know the name of the show, but it's better than Girls. I watched that one over Girls, and certainly, there's something like Shameless on, which is a quality show, or Walking Dead is on right now. I mean, Shameless and Walking Dead are both excellent shows. Girls, on a scale of 1 to 10, right now I'm probably going to give it a 6 to kind of give you where I'm coming from. This is a little over average. The last episode did not help that. Some episodes have, so there's some episodes that are definitely above a 6, and the last one, like I said, was like a 2. So sometimes it's up and down. It's not that consistent. The characters are kind of entertaining, kind of engaging. So let's talk about a bit more of those characters. Now you have what is it, Jemima Kirk, and she plays Jessa Johansson, who is this, I guess, there's a bohemian hippie type girl. They try to make her like she's supposed to be like the sex symbol. I mean, to me, she looks like she smells bad. Yeah, I mean that's the way. Like when I look at a girl, like when I see her, I'm like, oh, I wouldn't want to be close to her. She looks like she smells bad. I'm like, that is about the most unsexy thing I can think of when I watch her. Oh, she smells bad. Yeah. So to me, and she's not particularly pretty. But when you cast her with Allison Williams, I mean, there's an enormous difference in those girls' physical appearances. It's not like they're like 1 point apart. Like, I don't know, Jemima is what, like maybe a 6.5, and Allison Williams is like a 9 point something. She's gorgeous. Now you have I'm not even trying to fucking say her name, but Shapiro, I guess. Shanna Shapiro, I think is the character's name, and Zosia Mamet. Yeah, fucking easy name to say, right? I think she's also very pretty. She's an interesting character. She is completely clueless and innocent, and she talks a little bit too fast, which is sort of an endearing quality on her. And then she's in a relationship with this older guy who's, I think, Alex Karpovsky. I believe that's the character. Yeah, and there we go. He's the character that plays a lover. He's like practically homeless and like 35, and is an interesting character to have the two of them together, because he has like anger issues and is kind of a loser. But I mean, not a complete loser. The guy's like a manager of a coffee shop. It's not like, that's the worst job in the world. He's a manager there. He's not like he's lower than a manager. So I think they might have. Maybe that wasn't. I don't know. I don't really see him necessarily being as much of a loser as they kind of trying to portray him. I don't think he's a common man. I think the writer doesn't have a good peg. I think she's trying to make a common man character a relatable guy, and I think she's gone way off the mark on every single one of her guy characters. Like they don't hit it at all. But I mean, maybe she doesn't care about that. Maybe she's not interested in that. And I said I have watched all the episodes, so obviously she's doing something to a degree correct there. Their relationship though, the one between the coffee store, I'm not gonna try to butcher his name again, the coffee store manager and the young girl, I think is pretty interesting. The fact that like he basically goes and starts living with her without her even realizing it, because she's very naive. She completely has no wisdom at all, but she's not stupid. She's bright, and she starts putting things together once they're directly in front of her. She starts getting mad and angry, and then he kind of manipulates her emotions a little bit. So she comes across as an interesting character when she's on the scene, or when Allison Williams is on the scene. Again, I'm sorry, I'm not that fluent in all their names, so if I butcher them, I do apologize to the audience. I think both of them. I really like both their characters. I really enjoy both their characters, and they make the show for me. I'm glad they took. I guess they're taking Jemima's characters, or Jemima's husband out of the show. I thought that was a story arc that just went nowhere for me. I was like, oh God, please just scoot them off the TV. I don't like to see them at all. So, that's overall my opinion of this show. 6 out of 10. It's okay. Let me know what you think about Girls on HBO.